today we have for you a very, very important session. So what is today's session about? Well, I know that a lot of you have your vacations that are already going on, or some of you are probably going to be approaching your vacations. So what we're going to do today is basically talking about how you can use this vacation time much, much better by inculcating 5 really useful habits. Now, first of all, let's analyze what exactly is a habit, right? A habit is something that we keep doing all the time, right? We do it so much that then we don't have to think about it. It's like, for example, brushing our teeth. Now, brushing our teeth is a habit that we've inculcated, and it's a good habit, right? Right? But the thing is that apart from a whole lot of good habits that we have, sometimes we have some negative habits also, bad habits also. So for example, I have this really bad habit of biting my nails. Now, I know I should not do it, and I'm really trying to break out of this habit. So this is basically something that we're going to be talking about today. We're not going to be talking about how to break away from bad habits, but we're going to be talking about how to do a very positive thing, how to develop or inculcate 5 really good habits so that by the time you are done with your vacation, you are set for the year. Now, the thing is that most people say that a habit takes some time to form. Do you know that research says that it takes actually 21 days to form a habit, which means if you keep doing the same thing again and again and again and again for 21 days, it actually becomes a habit. So, I don't know whether that's true. Some people say 21 days, some people say it takes longer, but what I'm guessing over here is that if you keep doing something, then you don't need to think about it. It becomes part of your, your personality. It becomes part of your behavior. And then once that's a part of your behavior, you're set for life, especially if it's a good habit. So let's talk about 5 habits that we are going to learn to inculcate during our vacation, right? Okay, habit number 1, reading. Do you know that there is a very famous quotation that says, readers are leaders? And who doesn't want to be a leader, right? So reading is a very, very important thing because this is how you pick up new knowledge, new information. So what are some of the things that we can do to pick up this particular habit? Well, the first thing that I would say is that we need to set a practice of reading at least 30 minutes a day, which means that we need to take some time out and devote those 30 minutes to reading. Now, I know that some of you will probably say, but I don't like to read. So I am saying that it doesn't have to be something that you don't like. It doesn't have to be something that you are going to find boring. If you're starting with, the practice of reading 30 minutes, start with something that's going to interest you. Pick up maybe a fiction or non-fiction or mystery books or fantasy books or general knowledge books. Whatever it is that interests you, it's absolutely fine as long as you pick up that book and make sure that you're reading for at least 30 minutes a day. Right? Now, what you could also do, I find this a very, very helpful method, is that you could actually maintain a sort of a journal. Now, how does a journal help us? Journal is always meant for writing stuff, right? So basically, whenever you find something that is really interesting to you or something that you don't want to forget, right? Immediately when you've read it, jot it down in your reading journal. So what happens later on is sometimes when you're just flipping through that journal, you go back to that point and you're like, this is what I read. And it's like refreshing that memory all over again. Also, sometimes what happens is that then when you found something interesting, you don't want to go back to the whole book and read all 100 pages of the book, right? So keeping that journal will help you to actually jot down the things that you find memorable or you find interesting or you find knowledgeable, right? Okay, with that, next habit to inculcate is physical activity. Now, why is physical activity important? Physical activity is very, very important because a fit mind means, a fit body means a fit mind. So what am I trying to say by this? I'm basically saying that when we are active, when we are fit, then it helps us a lot with our stress management. Now, all I'm saying is, I know probably at this point in time, some of you will say, I don't have stress. And some of you will probably say, no, ma'am, there's a lot of stress because exams are coming up. And now this year is a very tough year. So all I'm saying is a way to manage that stress or that worry about exams or the worry about all the difficult subjects that you may have to tackle is to actually be active and fit, because a fit body leads to a fit mind. A fit mind is a calm mind. So what should we do for this? engage in any sort of physical activity. Outdoor activities, I think, is a very, very good thing to do. So, for example, sports or hiking or cycling or football or cricket or whatever it is that works for you, go ahead and do it as long as you are physically, engaging in some sort of activity. This second point that I'm going to be talking about is actually is a point that I find personally very, very helpful. I feel like when I'm out in nature, it really helps me to reset. So I'm saying go out, take a walk, be in the garden full of flowers, or, walk around the lane which is full of trees, and you will really find that you get that energy and you come out feeling much, much calmer. Oh, another thing that I really like to do when we're talking about nature is sometimes I like to take a walk around the seaside. So again, if it depends on which city you live in, when I go to Mumbai, I have the sea over there. When I'm in Bangalore, I don't have the sea over here. But basically, I'm saying spend time in nature. This is very, very important. Also, how much should we exercise? Well, I would say 45 minutes to about an hour every single day would be a good idea to do. So you're not basically sitting and becoming like a couch potato. Even if you're doing 45 minutes to 1 hour, maybe 5 times a week, I'd say that's still good, but make this a habit, which means that you need to again set time aside for this to actually be doing this every single day, right? Very healthy habit to have. Okay. Third thing is creativity. Now, what is creativity? Creativity is basically thinking outside the box. Creativity is all about looking at things in a new way, looking at things with a new chashma, finding solutions to problems, right? So that's what creativity is all about. How can we become more creative? Well, first of all, I would say just express, okay? Sometimes what we tend to do is we tend to, limit ourselves by saying, oh, but if I say this, then this is not logical, this is not practical. I'm saying creativity is about free flowing of thoughts, right? So explore that creative side either through art or through writing, or which means journaling. You could even do it through craft. Anything that, is interesting for you, definitely go ahead and do it. But like I said, do not judge yourself and say, oh, but this is so silly, or no, this is not practical, this doesn't happen in reality. Creativity is about enjoying that flowing process, so go ahead and do that, right? Okay. Once again, as I've said for all the other habits before, you have to actually set aside time for this, because we know that the more we keep doing something, the more it becomes a part of us, the more it becomes a habit. So set aside some time to actually engage in some sort of creative expression, whatever expression it is that you choose to do. And once again, express yourself through writing stories, poems, journals, craft, whatever you want. Just go with the flow and see how the magic happens, right? Okay, with that, we have the next one, which is learning something new. Now, I think this is very important. In fact, at BYJU'S, we always say, come fall in love with learning. Learning is so very important. Learning helps us to expand our knowledge, and the more knowledge we pick up, sometimes we don't even realize we're picking up that knowledge, but when we pick up that knowledge later on, when we're actually using it in daily life, it feels so amazing. So this could be some sort of information, could be skills, it could be anything. So how can you learn something new? Well, I would say a very good place to start would be to pick up something that you don't know and then actually start doing that. So for example, I don't like to say this very much, but I'll tell you the secret is that I don't know how to ride a cycle, right? So I have promised myself that I'm going to go ahead and learn how to ride the cycle. Now that is me learning something new. For you, it could be anything that you choose. It could be probably, some sort of coding, or probably it could be, going to some sort of hobby class, or maybe anything. It really doesn't matter. Choose an area that you feel that you don't know and go ahead and diligently and sincerely pick it up and try to learn it, because learning is very, very important. Now, how can you do this? You can do this through online workshops. You can do this with BYJU'S. We have so many things happening over here. Expand your knowledge. Take that time to go ahead and do it and challenge yourself. See, the thing over here is that learning something new sometimes can make us feel not very good. Why? Because for learning something new, we have to move outside our comfort zone and Who likes to move out of their comfort zone, right? But the point is no pain, no gain. If we don't move outside our comfort zone, we're never going to learn. And learning is so important because at some point in time, that that knowledge, whatever that knowledge is going to help us in life, whether we know it or we don't, right? So go ahead, challenge yourself, move outside your comfort zone, and this will definitely help you. With that, we move on to the last habit, which is ta-da! Time management. Now, I've actually been talking to you about time management quite a bit, even in the past 4 habits, because what have I been saying? I've been saying that for everything, you need to set aside some time, right? Whether it is for the reading, whether it is for the creativity, whether it is for learning something new, whether it is for physical activity, whatever it is, you actually have to set that time aside. Now, some people say, oh, ma'am, but I have no time in the day. I'm so busy. I'm saying, what are you doing? First of all, understand what you are doing during the day. Make a calendar, make a schedule for yourself, right? And when you make a schedule, you'll actually be able to see what are the things that you're spending time on and what are the things that you should spend time on more, right? So for example, put down the reading, put down the physical activity, put down the creative expression, put down probably some sort of preparation that you need to do for the upcoming year. Put down time even for rest and relaxation. And what you then need to do is you basically need to follow that schedule very, very sincerely based on the priority. Correct? Okay, then you can use tools to actually make the schedule. So for example, nowadays there are a whole lot of online tools that you can use, and I use a very simple tool. So what I tend to use is I tend to use my calendar. Now in my calendar, for example, what I tend to do is I have color codes for different things. So for example, when I've got a meeting, then I put the meeting in, for example, purple color. Or when I've got a live session, then I put it in a bright yellow color because that's what makes me happy. If it is, a holiday, then I put down in green. So sometimes what happens is you're very busy and you just pick up the calendar and you're like, okay, 2 purples and 1 yellow, which means I know exactly what I'm doing for the day. So that color coding, one, though it makes me feel happy, and secondly, it's a really good tool to use in terms of actually organizing your day. You will be able to see how much time you're spending on each sort of task. Right? So this is very important. And when we talk about tasks, I'm saying create a deadline for yourself. Don't just keep pushing it, because if you say later, I'll do it later, maybe never. Okay, so go ahead and do it right now. Create the schedule, go ahead and sincerely work on that schedule and go ahead and finish that task. Once again, prioritize your activities. This is very, very important. You will know what you have to do, right? So go ahead and set time aside for yourself based on what is important, but always remember to set time aside even for your rest and relaxation, because rest and relaxation is also a very, very important part of everything actually, because if we don't rest and relax, then everything else starts seeming very stressful and tiring. So I'm saying, do lots of things, create that calendar, but take time for a break also. And with that, we have finished our 5 habits to inculcate during the vacations. I hope you enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun telling you about this. By the way, these are 5 things that I'm making sure that I do all the time also. So you go ahead and do the same. With that, this is me just about to sign off. Now, you know that we do a whole lot of sessions for you. For example, we have, on our channels, both 6 to 8 and 9 to 10, we have quizzes, we have strategy sessions, we have, practice questions, concept and practice questions. Now, where are all these sessions? Well, we have a repository for you, and the link over here is in the description box. Go ahead and access all these sessions. This is another thing that you can do. Prepare for the upcoming year by going ahead and visiting or revisiting all these sessions. It will be very, very helpful for you. And as always, definitely like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to see you around. Bye-bye.